What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we are here with another one team versus all 10-star difficulty GARP challenges. And today, as you can see, we are going to be working with KOZUKI ODEN. So a couple of days ago, I did upload my showcase video. If you guys haven't seen that yet, make sure you go ahead and check it out, because this guy is pretty freaking cool. Just talking about this team in particular before we actually get into it, the team does actually use also one of the new rare recruits, which is the Inuarashi. This Inuarashi is very good. He actually has a really cool effect that can remove paralysis and attack down, which both of which are prevalent within the Whitebeard challenge, so it's really nice to have him. Plus, he enables the KOZUKI ODEN super type to activate, so that's useful. We've also got Vivi and Rebecca. They're just an exceptional unit altogether, being able to get the chain lock and the healing mechanics. And then we also have Arlong Crew, which is a bit of an obscure choice. I decided to put Arlong Crew on the team because he's just a decent attack booster. You know, if we are ever at low HP, like below 30%, we get 2.5 times attack, which is pretty great. The switch effect guarantees them a strength orb every single turn, and of course with KOZUKI ODEN special, we can actually change that strength orb into a Wano slot whenever the special is active. And we also have the Akainu support attached to the Arlong, so whenever we do launch the Arlong special, we're guaranteed a full board of strength slots, which Odin can change then into Wano slots. We also are running the Ivankov and Von Clay dual unit. They're just another really exceptional character that will provide really good damage reduction and paralysis removal with their switch, and also their special ability removing Bind and Despair, and then 5 turns of amazing healing. So that's actually quite an important special to have. And then we also have the Liberal Hind ship, which this ship is going to enable us to get a 1.6 attack boost, and we get 1,000 additional recovery at the end of each turn, which is great. Having the ability to get that extra recovery is very, very key, and having a special ability to reduce the cooldowns of our side characters. Now, you may say, we don't have any side characters on our team, but we do. We have the Ivankov, which is a side character, so whenever we use the special of that, we can actually use the ship to reduce its cooldown if we ever need it, which in the Dofi challenge, we definitely need to use the special ability of Ivankov Von Clay multiple times, so it's very, very important that we have that. And then, of course, we've got KOZUKI ODEN as our captain, with the support of Goldie Roger for additional stats. But the only real key supports I'd say that are really, really useful is definitely the Akainu on the Arlong, and we do also have Neko Mamashi, Legend Neko, against the Inuarashi, which enables us to remove 2 turns of bind or attack down whenever it's first inflicted, which is very, very good in the Revolutionary Challenge. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video of 10-star difficulty GARP challenges with KOZUKI ODEN, one team. So, of course, we're going to be starting things off with the Doflamingo Challenge number 1. Now, with this team in particular, the really big thing that I was scared about was ensuring that Ivankov and Bon Clay special was ready, not only for, obviously, the first time we're going to be using it, which is going to be on this stage right here, stage 2, to get rid of the Despair, but it also needs to be ready by the time we reach the Bartolomeo stage. And Despair is quite annoying, because when you have such a high HP pool, which is what Odin has, when you get Despaired, you just, it's so devastating when a character with high HP loses all of it through Despair. It's so frustrating. You know, obviously a character like Gold Roger, which I already made a video about with the 10-star difficulty GARP challenges, he just completely ignores Despair with his captain effect, so you don't even have to worry about it. It does make a humongous difference, that's for sure. But the really big thing is, whenever I, do these 10-star difficulty GARP challenge videos, Ivankov Von Clay is just such a good unit to use for these fights. And the thing is the cooldown is like just a touch too high, where it is quite annoying to try and get it back over and over again. But luckily, the Liberal Hind ship does kind of reduce it in a little bit of a fashion, because you can use the special ability of the ship to reduce the cooldown of Ivankov and Bon Clay special by 1 whenever the ship special is ready. Additionally, the ship also gives you 1,000 heal per turn, which enables you to stall a lot more, which is really useful as well. I was very much considering like building a team utilizing the brand new Oro Jackson ship, but I opted to go for the Liberal Hind just so my team had the consistent attack boost, whereas, sometimes when I switch with a character, they won't even be boosted with the ship. So I just thought that the Liberal Hind would be a little bit of a better option, as, all my characters will be boosted all the time, no matter what. Whereas, the Oro Jackson, the Oro Jackson is one of the best ships in the game, but there is the big drawback is that the ship only boosts Free Spirit and Slasher characters, right? So, yeah, it is kind of annoying that it is built like that, but either way, if you do have a full team that is Slasher and Free Spirit, then yeah, it's like the god tier ship. It just does everything. It's so powerful, especially having that ship special to remove 2 turns of paralysis. Like, what? Whose idea was that? I have no idea. It's way too strong. Another thing that I really liked and was quite surprising when I was using Odin was how good the barrier penetration was here. So you see that we have Barto. Typically the Barto stage is quite annoying. You can use a lot of different characters to remove the barrier. I think like Hold'em's one of the best ones you could use, right? But the really cool thing about Odin is that he has barrier penetration. So when he just does damage, now currently Global has the buffed version of the barrier penetration, where before, you know, it'd go through the barrier and it wouldn't remove the amount of hits that the barrier would require. But now that it does both, it makes it even more valuable to have an effect like that. So it's so nice that he has that. But the captain ability of Odin altogether, it is actually really good, right? It's a 4.25 times attack boost to all characters. So that is like that is a permanent thing that is active, 4.25 all the time. And then if your strength character has a Wano slot, it's a 4.75 times boost instead to that character. So when you do have that situation where you got a strength character with a Wano slot, it's over. They just do a lot of damage. But outside of that, yeah, the damage wise, it's not so great. And his captain effect doesn't like enable you to get matching slots more easy or anything like that. So you are still relying on switch effects, luck, and stuff like that in order to ensure you have the matching slots. But at least on our major burst turns, when we use the Arlong special, we have the support effect of Akainu that is going to give us a full board of slots, and then we can use the special ability of Odin to change those slots into Wano slots. So in that situation when we are on the burst turn, like on this situation here, the Arlong special is going to kill all the front row characters, and then we'll have a full board of strength, Wano slots by Odin. We'll have a 2 times attack, 2.5 times orb boost, and we can actually use the switch effect of Vivi and Rebecca as well to give us the 2.5 times chain lock as well. So Vivi Rebecca was such a really good unit for this team as well, enabling you to get a lot of healing. So, you know, stalling for the specials back again if I needed to stall was definitely a lot easier with Vivi Rebecca. But overall, that's how this team was able to beat the Dofi challenge. So let's go ahead and move on to the Revolutionary Army. The Revolutionary Army was a much easier fight, and I said this in my video as well with Gold Roger against all the 10-star difficulty GARP challenges, but the Dofi challenge, in my opinion, is the most difficult of the 10-star challenges just because of all the different things you have to take into consideration, whereas, you know, the Revolutionary Army and the Whitebeard challenge, they have less debuffs to deal with and less enemies to deal with as well, so it overall makes it a much easier fight for these other two challenges. But Vivi Rebecca was such a cool unit for this team. Of course, you're not going to be a strength unit all the time, but you know, that's one of the great things about Odin is that you don't really need a full strength team. Of course, strength units get the benefit of having a Wano slot and getting all the major boosts, but you know, you can still get a 4.25 times attack boost even if a character is not strength, right? So that's still a huge benefit to the team. Vivi Rebecca as well, as I mentioned just before, you know, having the switch effect for the 2.5 times chain lock was fantastic, and then also having the special ability to remove increased defense, percent damage reduction, all of those things was so great to have. And then also the color affinity. The color affinity didn't really matter that much. I wasn't using the character for color affinity. It was just for the utility and the god tier switch effect. You just saw that we activated the super type special of Odin. The super type special of Odin, I'm not really a big fan of it altogether. I wish that it was more team centric rather than, you know, only really focused on working on Odin himself. Though you can't just make his super type special change all orbs including block into Wano. I think that is a little bit broken if they did that. It's a more buff version of Odin of Roger's super type special. But I wish that it did something else. Like, one thing that I would have loved to have seen with his super type special is like keep what he does, but then add a chain boost on top of it. Man, that would have been actually insane if it did that. Like add a 0.7 chain boost or a 0.5 chain boost. Just that very minor addition would have made his super type special like one of the better ones in the game for sure, because you know, Odin by himself with a Wano slot, and then when you launch his special getting his own orb boost, and if you add a chain boost on top of that and his own base attack, like Odin himself is going to be hitting ridiculously hard. But outside of that, you know, yeah, it's just a Wano slot and base attack boost, which is still good. You're still going to get a lot of damage from that, but I feel like in a lot of situations that I found when I used it, like it didn't really make that much of a difference. In a lot of situations, it was either number one, it didn't make a difference at all, or a very minor difference, or number two, it was overkill. So I didn't really find a situation where it was like, you know, I just beat a boss because I had the super type special active. Some mini bosses, I guess, like some of the very minor bosses that you'll see in this video where I use the super type special just to get over them, like sometimes that is actually quite useful in very niche circumstances, but a lot of the time, you don't really need the super type special unless if like you're going up against like a quick enemy, and it's not one of those god tier bosses. It's a very minor boss, and you just need a little bit to get over him. That type of instance was quite nice, and I do think that, you know, in Kizuna clashes moving forward, he's probably going to be really good against them as well. So picking up from that last conversation that we had with the Revolutionary Army Challenge, his super type special I think is going to be quite good in a Kizuna clash, for example, where you're up against a Dex enemy. KOZUKI Oden is going to be probably the best captain to use for Dex content, just due to the fact that himself with Wano slots, if you've got a full strength team, all of which that have Wano slots, the multiplier that he's going to be providing to those units is quite absurd, and the fact that he is his crew's own orb booster as well, if you are running that full strength team, even if a character is not strength, even if they're free spirit or they're a slasher, they're going to be getting the orb boost from Oden, which I think is a great addition. You know, it would have been super annoying if he only boosted the orbs of strength characters, because then he wouldn't really work with Roger, but I do like the fact that, you know, they have kind of semi-restricted him. They've restricted him to his own color and his own classes, which of course the characters that have released alongside him in this batch all share the same classes, which is great. It's a really, really nice addition. So I love his special, and his captain effect is fine to me, but I'm just not all there with his super type special. One thing that obviously we don't really showcase here is his support effect as well. Oden has a great support effect. He attaches to pretty much all the characters that are requirements for his super type special, and then that character, when they reach the final stage, gets a Wano slot and -1 cooldown. It's a pretty good special, a support effect that can see some play, I would assume, down the line, but at this current point in time, probably not too much, but I could definitely see that being a really cool support in the future, because, like, technically speaking, it's basically just like, you know, a VV support, you know, just a guaranteed matching slot. Just, you know, instead of being a matching slot, it's going to be a Wano slot, so in certain situations, it's going to be quite good. And of course, it is kind of restricted on the characters you can put it on. But, you know, if you've got an extra character in your team and you want to make sure you have a matching slot on the final stage, Oden's going to be your boy, which is great. So here we are in the Whitebeard Challenge. I digress. Anyway, let's move on from that. We're in the Whitebeard Challenge now. Now, the Whitebeard Challenge was actually pretty straightforward as well. Nothing really too crazy to really say. The only stage that I would say was, like, semi-difficult was the Marco stage and Vista, because the thing about this team is we don't have a character on our team that reduces chain lock. So when we reach that stage, we do have the Inu special to remove the paralysis and the attack down. However, we don't have a character to remove the chain lock, so we are going to be like just doing our attacks through the chain lock, which is actually a lot more difficult than you would think. The amount of damage output that is restricted from you is quite a lot. So if there was any changes I would make, I'd probably do some research and see if there was any type of support effect I could have to remove that. I don't think there's like a really good strength shanks I could like squeeze in on this team to have Makino support with, but I don't know. I'll have to have a think about that one, but either way, it wasn't that big of a deal. We still were able to get around it, which is quite fine. The thing about it is we do take down Vista first after this Jozu stage right here, and then we focus on Marco. Now, Marco, after 3 turns, he fully heals himself, and then he also inflicts 3 turns of paralysis to your team. If that does happen, you can still use the switch effect of Ivankov and Bon Clay to remove 1 turn of paralysis. So basically, in like 1 turn of stall, you'll be able to get all the paralysis gone. It's not really that big of a deal, but still, it is kind of annoying that that is a thing. So you know, you just got to be careful when you do reach that Marco stage, that if you don't kill him in those first 3 turns, you're got to be very, very cautious in how you progress moving forward from there. But with all that being said, I'm just going to leave you guys with the rest of this clip against the Whitebeard Challenge using KOZUKI Oden. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.